Hey everyone, it's Sue at Door Dazzled, and it is a rainy day here at my house. I was planning on putting some stuff away from Valentine's Day, and instead we're going to make over this giant porch cleaner that I got from the Dollar Tree. So it is made out of MDF. It's $5. It's a 46-inch porch cleaner. I've seen them in every store that I've been in so far, so I don't know that they're sold out. I think that people kind of overlook these just because they have like a paper to them and they don't want to put them outside, but that's okay. We are going to just use it for basically a background, okay? We're going to fix this. So let's see what we're going to start with. So I got one of these blocks, these foam blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I cut it in half. Okay, as you can see, like this is one that I've used before. So we're going to cut it in half, and we're only going to use half of it. And then we have 3 of these bushes. These are from Michael's. They are the spring ficus bush. They're $3.99, but they're always on sale. So we have 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to use is some chunky knit yarn. This is from Yarn Bee. It's the color Rust. Now, I did get this back in the fall. You could probably just search Yarn Bee in that color and find it. If you like this color, honestly, you can use any color that you want. I also had this, like, it's called Butterscotch, a lighter color orange, but I really want to go with the darker orange for this project. So you could use whatever you have on hand, or you can go and see if you can find something on clearance. It doesn't even have to be orange. It could be pink. It could be like a spring green color or blue, whatever you want. It could be whatever. All right, so let's get to starting on our project. The first thing we're gonna do is we need to get this out of here. So we're gonna get a little twist and a pull. Trash. I don't mind that this is here, but I am going to take that off. Remove that piece. And there we go. Now I've got my glue gun ready to go. This is the Sure Bonder dual temp glue gun. I put it on high, and I use the long Gorilla glue sticks. I get these from Walmart. It's the best price that I have found so far. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to start on the back. And I'm just going to lay this down here, starting right here in the middle. I want to go ahead and get a wrap around to catch the other half of that. There we go. And then you can move it down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to just add our glue as we go. I think you guys can see what the project is here. We're just gonna wrap, right? We're gonna wrap this up, pat down that yarn. And I'm not putting a whole lot of glue to start with. I'm just using what I need to get just a little bit done, okay? Because we don't want it to dry before we're ready to get it on here. I probably should have left this over here. Here we go. Okay, now I'm seeing as I'm going that this piece is loosening up just because we put more on the back. So I'm going to come in here. And just tap it down. Now this is going to go on my front porch once it's complete. And you may be wondering, well, how are you going to keep it out there in the weather without it getting damaged? And I'm going to tell you when we're done. I have this in a mat. I just need to find it, but I'm going to spray the whole thing with this when I'm done to keep it safe. And I don't know, the clear is probably fine, but it is just for a season. It's an inexpensive project that you can make your own, because you know, some people don't want, they like the carrot, but they don't necessarily want it to say welcome, right? You just want the look of something without the words on it. And for me, I'm going to do my front porch with a lot of just naturals and the big carrots that made on another video. Those will be all in my garland around my front door and on my door swags. So this will complement it pretty well to have another one that's a little larger. And if you pull these glue strings as they're coming, they'll be easier to get off. As you can see, this is going to be a very quick and easy project. I haven't seen anyone else do this one yet on socials. So hopefully you guys are able to run out and grab a porch leaner and make one as well. All right. I think again, doing the glue a little bit at a time is going to help to keep your yarn straight. I do love this chunky yarn as well because it adds a nice texture as well as it gives good coverage. And it's definitely a way to take an inexpensive item and jazz it up a bit. To make it your own. To give a little more uniqueness as well. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a peek where we are so far with our carrot. So we're not even a half a glue stick in yet. And again, this is some yarn that I just had this fall, particularly in my stash. But like I said, you can get whatever. And I know there's still a lot of good deals right now. All of the craft stores have their yarn on sale. Joann's, if you have one near you that happens to be going out of business, I bet they have some really good deals. And it could be any yarn. Like I said, I prefer the thicker yarn because it makes the project go faster. It gives it a little more texture. And personally, I just like the way it looks. Now, if you guys haven't already seen on my YouTube channel, there is another tutorial on there on how to make the carrots out of the foam cones. So if you haven't seen it, go check that out, because if you do like this look and you're going for this type of design, you may find that you really want to do that as well, because it's quick and easy. And it, again, makes a really big impact. In fact, it's one of my most viewed tutorials on Facebook, and I think it's moving up the chain on the YouTube channel as well. It's a little awkward, guys, trying to keep this within the frame of the camera. Here we go. And just take your time. That way you're not like making it loose. And I like to when I get a new skein of yarn, I like to undo it and then roll it into a ball. That way I'm not running into any surprises or knots along the way while I am making a project. And it makes it easier for me to use. Now we're going to just go up to where the green part is. And then I'll show you what we're doing with that piece of foam in that Greenery from Michael's. And you can get your Greenery anywhere. You don't have to get it from Michael's. That's where I got mine from. And it was on sale with their spring sale. So if you wanted to use exactly what I was using, that's what it is. Okay, I'm putting in another glue stick now, so we have used a complete stick. Now, if you guys like this and you're not already a member in my subscriber group and you'd like to see more of stuff like this and maybe a little, some exclusive content, if you go to my Facebook page, which is doordazzled.com, or I'm sorry, doordazzled, you will see a subscribe button at the top of my page, and that will get you into the subscriber group. This one right under here. Here we go. And then you'll see that in there we have some exclusive content. Be first to know about supply kits and any of the other things that I'm doing. All right. This glue stick isn't as hot as the last one is just yet, so we need just a little bit more. Almost finished. Let's see, it's already drying here because I didn't get to it quick enough. All right, you guys see so far? Now this piece where I added it in, I'm going to give it a little bit more glue right there. All right, let's see if we can make some quick work out of this last little bit. This is why I usually roll it into a ball before I start a project. But I thought I would have enough of the other one, which I did not. Now, as we get to the rounded portion of this, we're going to have to use a little bit more glue, and particularly on the edges here, because we want that to stay put. Just be careful not to glue yourself. And we are getting to the end, folks, of this project. All right, flip it over. And I like to tuck the tail in and just glue it down. Okay, so this is what we have so far. That's our welcome sign is now a giant, like, for me, this is like a velvet or velour kind of fabric. Okay, moving on. So remember I said we're gonna cut this in half and only use half of it, which I have. And whenever you're gluing foam to something else, you want to have a piece of felt in between the two so that it adheres and doesn't pop off as easily. So this is a substrate, it's porous, because this isn't. So I've glued the felt to the foam, and now I need to glue the felt to our carrot. And I'm going to put it just like this. And we could probably use even less of that. Let's do that. you guys have an old serrated thread knife, it's one of the best things for cutting the foam. You can find them at like thrift stores and whatever. And then we have a piece for something else. Okay. So now, get this out of here. I don't want it to get in our yarn and make it dirty. All right, so now is where we take these bushes from Michael's. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push all the little leaves up. And I'm gonna cut them all off of here, so that we have a bunch of little pieces. The cutters that I'm using, if somebody wants to know, is the Knipex. I got these on Amazon. I have 2 pair, but this is the original pair, and I've had them for going on, I think, 4 years now. Pretty much use them for everything. They're easy on the hands. They have a spring in them. Okay, the longest I think anything is going to take is getting these little labels off from Michael's. Now I'm cutting them longer than shorter. Now I probably will shorten them up as we put them in, but in case I need some that are longer, I want to be able to have that option, because you can always cut off. You can't add to once you cut these stems off these florals. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to embellish the top, right? I want some longer. And we're just going to go around the top, kind of eyeballing what we want, using this template and behind it as our guideline, right? So we know that it's going like this. So we're going to keep coming around so we can fill in those extra spaces. And we're going to put a bow here too, so don't worry about being able to see the front of this. It's going to be all covered up here in a minute. Because now that we've built out basically the outside, we're going to start filling in on the inside, and then we're going to put a bow here, and it's all going to look fabulous. And if we need one more bush, then we'll go grab one more bush. So we want it to be a little bit wispy, right? So that when it stands up, it kind of hangs on just like a real carrot would. A little shorter. All right, and the last piece. Probably get 2 pieces out of that. Let's do that. Now, if you have any foam that you don't like looking at, you can always put some moss on it and cover it up, or use another piece of greenery, another bush. But I think this is fine because once we put our bow on, it's going to cover all of this up and you're not going to see it. All right, so for our bow, I kind of want a little bit of a rustic feel with this. Keep it very natural versus like bright. So let's see what we're going to do with that bow. Okay, so the ribbons that I picked for this project, now you guys, you can use whatever ribbons you want. This is just what I picked, what I had on hand that I thought coordinated well with this color yarn. And so I've got I call this fruit stripe because it looks like fruit stripe gum, but I felt like this green really complemented the rust color and it coordinates well with the color of my greenery. So I have that in a 4 inch. And then I also have it in a 2.5. So we're gonna layer this. I have this carrot ribbon. Now it does have a black and white plaid on the back, which is fine to add a little bit of color. I feel that black and white in anything looks good, but the orange color on these carrots goes very well with the color of yarn, and the green again coordinates well with the fruit stripe. And then I brought in a 1 inch of the burlap in that same coordinating green color. In fact, it doesn't tell me what it's called. But we're going to put all of these together. We're going to make a nice bow for the front of this. It's going to cover up the mechanics here that the greenery went in, and it's going to finish the whole thing out. So without further ado, let's get started. Pull this off now just so it's out of our way. If you're not comfortable making bows, I'm going to show you some easy ways to do it, and hopefully you feel comfortable enough to at least try. Okay. So with my 4 inch, I don't want to have a bunch of 4 inch loops, but I do want to have enough that's going to cover up our foam, right? See what we're doing here? So I'm going to pull off, I'm just going to eyeball this, and I'll measure it here in a second for you. So it's a little over 48 inches that I have here. And to make this easy, you're just going to overlap the two here. You see how I've done this? And you can pinch it in the middle, which may be too big. Yep, definitely is too big. All right, let's try something different. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make 2 even loops. I know this is probably more confusing than you were a second ago. All right. So basically I've just made 2 loops and 2 tails that'll kind of come up here. We'll trim those off. I'll do it again to make it easier. In fact, this one has a point on it. Let's go ahead and get rid of that right now. I'm going to go ahead and dovetail it the opposite direction, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, starting over. Now it should be about 48 inches long. Yes, now it's 48 inches long. All right, we're gonna find the center. Okay, find your center. Let's loop these 2 over like an awareness bow. Make it easier than we were about to do. And you're gonna just pinch this all together. And that's step 1. Now I want these 2 going up. They will be at the top of the bow, and as we layer, we'll have our tails coming down. So that's step 1. If you have trouble holding this, these are at the Dollar Tree. Okay, they have the bigger ones and they have the small ones. So if you have trouble holding it, just get a little clamp and hold it still, so you have an idea what's coming next. Okay, so we started with that ribbon. Next we're going to go with our carrot ribbon, because we want to layer this, right? Now this is a really pretty pattern on the back, and it's double-sided, so I don't want to dovetail it. What I will end up doing with this one is I'm going to fold it over this way and give it a little spot of glue to hold it in place so that it doesn't come undone for me. Okay. All right. So now with this, because it's a pattern, all right, we don't want carrots going one way and then being upside down going the other way. We kind of want it all to go the same, right? So I'm going to start with my top tail here and pinch it off. And it's a little bit smaller than this original one. I'm going to loop it around like so. And that's our first one. Now remember what I said about having everything go the same direction. If I were to come back around this way, I could make my carrots going the same direction. And that's the thing, just play with it until you get it the way that you want it. I'm going to clamp this for a minute just so you can see what it's going to look like. Because I'm going to take one straight piece to do a tail. And I'm going to cut this tail. Let's cut it about here. Like I said on the other one, I'm going to fold it over here. And give it a little spot of glue to hold it in place, so we don't have to worry about it unraveling. Okay, now we need to achieve the same thing coming the opposite direction, right? So again, we're going to fold over our end, and this one we're going to work backwards. So I know, there we go, see how the carrots are all going like the same way? So I know I'm going to need to pinch it about here. And all you're doing really is you're making one long tail that we can add to the back of the bow. We're just layering it. All right, we're going to take this apart, still holding it in our hand. We're going to grab it right here. And all we've done is we've added our extra tail, one at the top and one at the bottom, so that everything is going in the same direction. Okay, I'm going to pinch it into our original bow. Now we're going to come in with this one. And this one is a little different because it doesn't have the pattern on the back, so we can go ahead and dovetail that. So now we've got single loop, single loop. This one here is going to be the same thing. We're just going to come in with our tails just a little bit smaller, because we don't want to hide that carrot ribbon we just added to. I'll dovetail it in a second. Okay, so you see that I only made one tail, one loop, a short tail, a loop, and then a small tail, okay? We're gonna do the same thing again. So again, if you're struggling with tying bows, don't tie a bow, just make loops and tails, and you'll see it all come together. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to make a little top tail, another little loop, and a bottom tail. Okay, so we're just pinching it like that. I'm going to take our other one, which I just got to turn the other way. Here we go. We're going to put those two together. Okay, I'll put this right on top. And I'll go ahead and clamp it with this so you can see better. Okay, so you see how we've pulled in the color from behind, we're moving it back to the front. And then last but not least is this 1 inch, just a simple burlap. And this is how we're going to secure it to our carrot, okay? First we'll need a zip tie to zip tie all of these pieces together, okay? So we're gonna come in, we're gonna remove our clamps. Everything is where we want it. And we can do our fluffing after the fact, right? We're gonna go around with our zip tie. Give it a good pull. Start pulling these loops around so you can see all of the colors that you put in here. I think I want this one just a little bit shorter so it's about the same length as that one on the other side. All right, and now we just need to secure it to the top of our carrot so that it's all ready to go. So we're going to take this, the burlap, and we're going to run it behind it. This is where it's going to get very simple, like a shoelace bow, like when you're tying your shoes. I'll just give myself enough ribbon here. We're going to set our bow on here. grabbing another zip tie. Bear with me. All right. I'm gonna take another zip tie, and it's gonna go underneath the first one that we put in under our bow. Okay, so we have our little friend here to attach to. We're going to run this one through one way, the other one through another way, opposite direction of each other. Get them in there. Put a zip tie, not too tight because we still have to tighten those, basically tighten these laces up, right? Then just pull them tight around the back. Okay, so you see underneath, well, you probably can't see underneath, but anyway, I've got them zigzag underneath. I'm just gonna tie them off here. And they will become part of my bow. Just give them a little twist so they're a little curly. Pull all of our other pieces down. I like to roll them up. And then just give that a little tug at the bottom. Now, I didn't put a whole lot of orange in the bow because there's so much orange on the carrot. I felt like we needed to really bring in that green color on the top. But this here is your design. Now, I will take a picture of it at the front door for you, but there you go. Simple makeover from the Dollar Tree carrot welcome sign. If you guys like that, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so I can keep adding more content. If you want more of the exclusive content that is on my subscriber page, you will find me at Door Dazzled on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye.